Welcome back to Living in Provo, Utah. I'm Scott Walters with Best USA Realty. Now, if you're looking to move to Provo or the surrounding Utah Valley area, then this channel's for you. I'm covering everything about living in Saratoga Springs, Lehigh to the north, to Provo-Orem in the middle, to Payson, Santaquin on the south, and all the cities in between. So again, if you're looking to relocate or know what it's like to live in Provo, Utah and the Utah Valley, then this channel's for you. So in this particular video, I'll be talking about the cost of living in Spanish Fork, Utah. I just recently did a pros and cons video about living in Spanish Fork, Utah, and you can watch that video as well. But in this one, I want to get into what it costs to live in this beautiful city of Spanish Fork. Now remember to like and subscribe this video and click on that notification bell so that you get notified every time I drop a video about living in Provo. I'm using my 29 years of selling real estate in Utah Valley to bring this information to you. Now again, as I'm talking about the cost of living in Spanish Fork, keep in mind that this is all subjective because it really depends, and it's basically my opinion, my experience of living in this area, what it cost me for things like transportation, housing costs, etc. So just keep that in mind, that it'll be a little bit of my opinion on a lot of these items. So with that, let's get into talking about the cost of living in Spanish Fork. So when it comes to the cost of living, then I think the number one thing that most people ask me about is the cost of housing. What am I going to pay for rent? What am I going to pay to purchase a home? And certainly the cost of living in that area has gone up pretty significantly since the beginning of the pandemic. I am noticing that we are slowing it down a bit in our price appreciation there, and I'm seeing a lot of price adjustments. That's probably because a lot of people are starting their price too high. So once they get to the correct price, they are selling and still selling quickly, but those prices that they end up selling for are still higher than they were last year. So I looked on the multiple listing service for Spanish Fork. There is one home for $3 million something, and it's about 10,000 square feet. And then you drop down from there, the homes that are $1 million, $1.5 million, those are around 5,000 to 6,000 square feet. And homes that are in the 700,000 to 900,000 range, those are around 4,000 to 5,000 square feet. Those homes you're going to be paying anywhere around $4,000 a month for a payment if you're getting a home in that range. And then you got the 500,000 to 600,000 price range. That's going to buy you somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 square feet. Payments roughly in the $3,100 a month. And these payments are really more of a principal and interest type payment. Doesn't include your tax and insurance. And then you've got the 400K or 400,000 homes. That's really going to be homes that are in the 2,000 to 3,000 square footage range, and that includes the townhomes. And they're building a lot of townhomes that are in that 2,000 square footage range. You're going to be paying somewhere around $2,500 a month for a home like that. So when it comes to rents, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom townhomes are renting for right around $2,000 right now. If you get a 5-bedroom, 3-bath home, you're going to be closer to $3,000 a month for that. And then if you get a mother-in-law apartment inside of a home that's probably 2-bed, 1-bath, you're going to be anywhere from $1,300 to $1,600 a month. And in many cases, you will have the utilities will be part of that rent. For a single room, my son just signed a lease in Provo, so it's not Spanish Fork, but it's close. He signed a lease for $500 a month, and that includes his utilities. And then my daughter was looking for a place, and she was seeing stuff between $300 and $400 for a single room, but normally I'm seeing $300 and $400 price range for rents for shared rooms. So that's what you're looking at when it comes to home prices and rents and payments in the Spanish Fork area. I'm of the opinion that it's still well worth it to own a home. If you're renting, all that money is just really, in my opinion, going down the drain. You're not getting any price appreciation. You're also not getting any tax benefits, so you can write off some of that mortgage interest, and deduct that on your tax bill. Now, the next thing I say might be a little controversial, and feel free to beat me up in the comments. I want to know what your opinion is. Are we in a housing bubble or not? Are the home prices going to keep going up or not? One of the reasons why I suggest people continue to buy is because I think they're going to continue to see price appreciation. Certainly, I listen to a lot of experts, and they're all kind of divided. Dave Ramsey says this is the best time to buy in the next 5 years. Home prices are going to go up slower, but they're still going to continue to go up. So now's the best time to buy. Listen to another expert, Patrick David, I believe, and he thinks there's going to be a massive crash. What I'm coming down on is I'm seeing that the supply is not keeping up with demand. One of the reasons that home prices keep going up is because there's so much demand because there's so little inventory. So I think that it's still a great time to buy better rather than renting. So, make a comment. Let me know what you think, if you agree or disagree with me. So the second thing that most people ask me about are cost of utilities. What does it cost me for my electric bill, water, sewer, heating, all that kind of stuff? And generally, I can give you an idea just based upon the homes that I've lived in. I lived in a it's about 3,500 square foot home for 17 years, and I was paying anywhere from $250 to $300 a month. I've got that home rented out right now, and my tenant tells me her bill's averaging around $300 a month. And that's, again, that covers everything: your water, your heat, your air conditioning. And it can be more if you run things a little longer. Like one time we ran our Christmas lights for 2 months every night, and our bill was up, a couple $100 more than normal. So we go kind of easy with things like that to keep that bill down. That's about where you're going to be. If you double the size of the home, if you're in a 6,000 square foot home, your bill is going to be between $500 and $600 a month on average. So again, very subjective what you're going to pay based upon how cold you keep it, how hot you keep it. But I think you're going to find these utility rates are pretty similar across most of the cities in Utah Valley, Spanish Fork included. So another item that I get asked a lot about is the cost of living is the price of groceries. Again, another completely subjective topic because it depends on how what your tastes are and how expensively you're eating. If you're quite frugal, I remember probably 10-15 years ago we had a family of 6 and we were eating for about $300 a month, but we had little kids at that time, so they didn't eat tons, and then we ate a lot of rice and beans and spaghetti dishes and things like that. We're probably a lot closer to $100 to $130 per person right now. We're a family of 8 people, my wife, myself, and our 6 kids. And then my mom and my aunt live with me, and sometimes we cook for them too. That probably covers us. And again, we're not eating lavishly. We're just having some typical meals. I also like to grow a garden, so that helps cut down on the cost of groceries, especially where we're in this inflationary period. So I assume that the cost of groceries is pretty similar to wherever you're living now as they are here in Spanish Fork. Another question I get asked a lot is property taxes. How much are property taxes? And people want to take that into account when they're buying a home, because usually that's escrowed into part of their monthly payment. The good news is Utah's property taxes and property tax rates are definitely way lower than the vast majority of the states in all of America. In fact, I sold some clients a home probably 3 years ago. Their personal home was actually paid off, but they still were paying around $1,500 a month just for their monthly property tax bill to the state of California. And for a home like theirs, if it were up here in Utah, their yearly tax bill would probably be $2,500. So that's kind of gives you an idea of where we're at with our tax rates. They're definitely way cheaper. If you have a 3,500 square foot home, I mean, you're going to be in that $2,000, $2,500 in your tax bill range. If your home's 4,000 to 5,000 square feet, then you may be, $4,000 or $5,000 a year on your tax bill. And of course, most people, that's broken up monthly and paid through your mortgage and your escrow, and the county gets paid that way. Phone, internet, that's probably one of the other areas that a lot of people ask me about the cost of living. And again, this is very subjective on who you use. I was with AT&T and Verizon for quite a while because the service seemed better for where I lived, but then I was paying $300 a month. But again, I have a lot of people on my phone plan. I have, I think, 6 people with cell phones, so that was really running us up quite a bit. And then my neighbor was selling a T-Mobile package, and we're able to reduce that bill down to $200 a month. And then of course one of my kids has dropped off that plan. Hopefully I'll get the other 2 off real soon and bring that bill down even more. Now when it comes to phone service in the house, most people that I know have cut the cord. I keep one line. It's not very much a month, something like $9 a month to keep that. I just do that so that my younger kids that don't have cell phones can reach us or call us. I think my wife told me our bill's around $180 a month. That's for the landline, our internet bill, and I'm paying for the highest package so I can have the highest speed on my internet. And of course that also gets us a very large bundle with our cable. And again, a lot of people just have cut the cord. They don't even watch cable. They just get internet and then stream shows. But I'm definitely old school where I like to watch my sports and other things, and don't really like watching Netflix or Amazon or any of that. That's just not my thing. So if it were, it'd probably be a little bit cheaper for that bill. Anyway, that gives you an idea. It's probably similar to somewhere where you're living now, but that's where we're at when it comes to the phone and internet services in this area. Transportation costs is another thing that I'm asked about, and of course this will be subjective upon how you are getting around. If you're wanting to use public transportation, when it comes to Spanish Fork, the public transportation options are not as great as they are as if you're in Provo Orem. The transit situation there is much better, but you can buy, last time I looked, for around 80 to 90 bucks a month you can get a month-long pass to the Utah Transit Association or Authority's bus system. So you could take a bus all around. That could get you up north. But then again, if you want to have access to the track system, which is the train system that runs from Provo all the way up to Salt Lake and Ogden, then you'll be paying somewhere in the $170 a month range. And from Spanish Fork, you would have to take the bus from Spanish Fork to Provo to hop on that track system. Most people I know drive a vehicle, and this is where it's really going to depend on what you're going to pay. Of course, last year, with the last cost of living video I made, gas prices were around $3 a gallon. Now they're around a little over $5 a gallon, or $5.50 in a lot of places. And so that cost has gone up pretty dramatically. So if you're driving a Suburban, you know, it's going to cost you $160 to fill that thing up and drive you around for the week. I've got a Dodge Ram 2500, same thing, cost me 150 bucks to fill that thing up. I'm only getting like 12 miles a gallon, so I pretty much only use it when I take my boat to the lake or go camping, or use it to put the signs in the back of my truck and go put them on people's properties when I'm selling them. So I don't use that very often. That's one of the reasons why I bought a hybrid Honda Insight, and if I drive conservatively, I can get around 50 miles to the gallon. Currently I can fill that up for about 35 bucks for a full tank. So I've definitely looked at all electric cars, but the cost of those cars are to me, they're so prohibitive that it doesn't make sense to buy that car. It makes more sense for me for the hybrid. So again, a very subjective topic. It just really depends on what you drive. The next item I have down is childcare costs, and honestly I may not be the best source for this one because my wife and I have always worked out of our homes, and so we've always been here for our children, and we have never put them in daycare. But we did have a wonderful neighbor that ran a preschool out of her home in her basement. She was $90 a month, and that was 3 days a week, and did a fantastic job for all of our children. I'm going to estimate that if you have a child in daycare full time, that it's probably going to be a $500 a month bill, $300 to $500. Again, like I say, I am not the greatest on this one just because we never put our kids into daycare, but I would at least plan somewhere in that $300 to $500 month range for an all-day daycare. And there may be, and I'm thinking that's probably more of like an institutionalized company. If you find someone who runs a daycare out of their home, it's probably quite a bit cheaper than that. You'll just have to check around. You probably can check on some of the yard sale sites for Spanish Fork. They've got the Spanish Fork Indoor Yard Sale. Imagine if you asked around on there, you could get some idea of what people are charging for all-day daycare. Now finally, the last thing that I have down here for cost of living in Spanish Fork is the cost of entertainment. I mean, we can't just work and not have any play, right? We got to have some entertainment. So when it comes to entertaining, I think one of the great things about living in Spanish Fork is there's a lot of free entertainment, things that you can do that don't cost you money. You can drive an hour up Spanish Fork Canyon and you're at two beautiful different reservoirs. You can be to Strawberry and Schofield in an hour, and on the lake fishing, you'll pay maybe $9 to launch a boat. So that's pretty cheap. You can also drive up Spanish Fork Canyon to the hot pots up Diamond Fork, and that's free. You just park there and hike in. That's really cool. As far as other entertainment, you've got golf. You can $25 gets you 9 holes in a cart, and then of course Spanish Fork has a lot of community parks. It's totally free where you can play pickleball, you can swim in the reservoir, you can walk on the river trail, you can play tennis, basketball, run on the fields. And then again, there's also, as far as entertainment, I consider gyms as entertainment for me. There's several good gyms in Spanish Fork. Voss is the biggest. The cheapest package they have is $10 a month. You've got several CrossFit and functional fitness gyms that are anywhere from $80 to $130 a month for more specialized training. So there's a lot of options that way. When it comes to eating out for entertainment, you know, there's all the fast food places that you'd want to go to that you're going to spend, you know, $8-9 for a meal. Or if you want to go to somewhere a little fancier like an Olive Garden or a Chili's, and you'll probably spend about $12 a person for your meals. So definitely plenty of options for some very inexpensive and fun entertainment in Spanish Fork. Well, again, thanks for watching this video on the cost of living in Spanish Fork, Utah. I appreciate that. And if there's something I left out or something you want to know about, make a comment in the comment section below so that I can make another video and address those cost of living issues. Now, don't forget to like and subscribe and click the notification bell so that you can get notified every time I drop a new video. Again, I'm Scott Walters, Best USA Realty. I'm dropping weekly videos about all the cities and towns in and around Provo, Utah, in what's called the Utah Valley or Utah County area. And I'll be talking more about the cost of living in the best neighborhoods and that for all the other neighborhoods around here. So with that, I'll catch you on the next video.